Hi folks, good afternoon. Welcome to our technical session. It's great to see so many familiar faces in the room. My name is Matt McCready. I'm a senior consultant here within the professional services team at Esri UK, and I'm joined today by my colleague Martine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Martine Cameron, and I'm a Managed Cloud Services Engineer here at Esri UK. So in today's session, we are going to be taking a look at some of the application builders that are available in the Esri platform, including some demonstrations on the ArcGIS Instant Apps in relation to a biodiversity case study. So I don't know about you, but Esri's suite of products and application builders can be a little bit daunting sometimes, and I'm never 100% sure of which of the different types of builders to choose for my project sometimes. So I'm hoping that this little guide might help today. So starting with ArcGIS Instant Apps, they are the quickest way to go from map to app. They are an application builder template that will provide you with an intuitive experience that allows you to quickly create web apps that interact with your maps and data in a matter of minutes. They're focused, purpose-driven, and they come with a collection of workflows to suit your needs, including statistical analysis, viewing charts or attachments, and amongst many other things. And many of the names will seem familiar because they align with the soon-to-be-retired configurable apps options. So next is ArcGIS StoryMaps, perfect application builder to help your organization tell a compelling story and add some context to your maps and data with a responsive and mobile-friendly design. ArcGIS Dashboards is an interactive and dynamic and configurable app builder to enable an organization to tell their data's story and adapt their app to suit specific audiences. And since June 2023, the ArcGIS Online or 11.2 from ArcGIS Enterprise, these have been mobile responsive, so we can now take dashboards on the go. And lastly, ArcGIS Experience Builder, the older cousin of the Instant App. This application builder allows organizations to build immersive apps that unify their data, maps, and web pages all in one single application. They can be used via templates, or you can take full control to design single or multi-page applications through drag-and-drop widget components. And these can also be interconnected through actions to enable intuitive navigation between elements in your application. Some additional customization is possible through low code in the developer edition of this app builder. So I'm going to hand over to Matt, who's going to take us through some of our case study summary for today.
Thanks, Martine. So some of you may know the RSPB's annual Big Garden Birdwatch took place in January this year. It's been running for 44 years and is designed to get the public outdoor in nature and record sightings of birds. This year, over 600,000 people took part, and they recorded a staggering 9.7 million birds, which is great, but it only happens once a year. So in this use case, we will assume the role of a GIS administrator at a local authority in Kent, where you might be lucky enough to spot the endangered nightingale. It's important for the council to understand patterns in the distribution and population of these bird species more widely to help inform planning and development decisions, as well as biodiversity and conservation projects. So the local authority would like to support a new fictitious initiative, we come up with this, called Nest Watch Kent, to raise awareness of local bird species in the area and the challenges they face. So the requirements are simple. We need to create an easy-to-use solution where the public can learn about the initiative, as well as submit bird sighting data, identify which species have been spotted, nearby specific locations, and also explore and interact with that sighting data as well. So I'll pass back over to Martine for the first demo of the session.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, so I'm going to hop out of my presentation and over to my browser. Okay, so for the remainder of the presentation, we're going to be using the following web map that has some data in it showing bird sighting locations based on the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch data from 2024 for the County of Kent. We also have some additional RSPB layers in here that are available through Esri's Living Atlas that shows reserves and important bird areas. Using this web map, we're going to demonstrate how you can build multiple applications from a single web map depending on the intended purposes or audience for your application. So to get started for our project, we're going to need an application that allows public members to report bird sightings in the wild. So to get started, I'm going to click on Create an App and choose Instant Apps. So once the Instant App Gallery loads up, you'll see that I have several options available. There are many to choose from. In addition, I also have the suggestions section here on the left with some questions. I'm going to be using suggestions to help pick out an application for my intended purposes today. So I'm going to want viewers to interact with my data, and I'm also going to want them to be able to edit that data. So choosing that, I now have some suggested applications. You can see that there are 3 main ones and 2 additional at the bottom. The additional ones are showing that they're not applicable currently because my web map does not have an imagery layer or a feature layer with attachments, but should I have that kind of data, these would also be suggested. So for today's demonstration, I actually want to choose Reporter, as it will allow me to record observations in the wild and for people to be able to input data via this application. So this would be replacing the likes of crowdsource as configurable app. Currently, this is in beta, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to give it an appropriate name. Report a bird sighting, and click on Create App. So once my application loads up, you will see that I have my web map already in there, and I have something called Express Mode turned on. So Express Mode is useful for getting us set up with all of the essential parts of our application straight away, so we can get it out into the public realm as quickly as possible. So I'm going to use this for today's demonstration. Clicking on step 1 then, this is where we would choose our web map. Given that I launched this application directly from my web map, that's why I have the web map already selected, but this is where you would choose it. Moving on to next then, the about information. I already have a header, and I'm quite happy with the name of my application at the moment, but there's also introduction window, which allows us to add a splash screen should it be required. Moving on to next then, I select the layers that I want people to be able to report on. So as I said for the demonstration, I want people to be able to report bird sightings. And also I can update the message that's shown whenever a record is submitted and update the button on the bottom left there. So I'm going to update that to report a bird sighting. Moving on to next. The interactivity options then, having your search turned on, having it open from the start, and also adding your layer list if required. I'm going to leave this as default for today. And then the theme and layout is the last bit. So I'm sure you can probably tell from my browser, I much prefer dark theme. So I think I'm going to choose the dark mode for today's demonstration. Choosing from the themes then, I have none, custom. My organization shared theme, should one be configured. But given its biodiversity, I'm going to go for a forest green. And the last thing then is managing your widget positions on your application. So home and zoom are on the top left, search on the top right, legends on the bottom left seems like an odd place for it, so I'm going to move it over here next to the search widget. Okay, so I think it looks okay. I'm going to click on Publish Now and get my application up and running. So you'll see once it publishes, I have the option to change the sharing options directly from the configuration options. I also can share it out to social media, copy the iframe so I can embed the application. But for today, I just want to launch it, test that it actually works. So launching my application, and once it spins up, I'm going to click on Report a Bird Sighting, choose the bird sightings layer, click on Next, and then I am going to zoom into this location, and I'm going to drop a pin. And based on Matt talking about nightingales, I'm going to choose the nightingale species and click Submit. Okay, my record is successfully submitted. So quick and easy, less than 5 minutes. I'm going to hand over to Matt now, who's going to take us through our next demonstration for the next app we need for our project.
Thanks, Martine. So in this example, I would like to create an application that allows the public to search for or identify bird species spotted nearby locations. So you can see on the left-hand side, in this example, I've used a slightly different search criteria to include filtering of features, and I've been presented with a slimmed-down list of the 21 available templates, and I can see nearby is on the top left here, so I'm going to go for this particular template here. Now, in the interest of time, I've already gone ahead and repeated the steps that Martine just showed you, so the application's look and feel is the same. So let's jump straight into the configuration then of the nearby element of this application. So I'm going to go straight to step 3. And you can see I've just checked on the 3 layers that I would like the users to be able to search against. I've set search radius as the method, And I've added some applicable minimum, maximum, and default search distances as well. Now, one great capability that's available in this particular template is the use of layer effects. And what this does is it essentially emphasizes and de-emphasizes search result features based on whether they fall inside or outside our search radius. And better still, it groups these options based on their suitability for light and dark base maps. So in this example, I'll go for bloom and gray. What does that mean, I hear you say? So what I will do is I'll just type in a postcode, and we can see what this looks like. So if I zoom out, you can see quite vividly the contrast between the features within the radius and those that have been grayed out outside it. I can also search for a location just by placing a point on the map as well. So for example here, if I click on my bird sightings, I can see the records that Martine just created a few moments ago as well. But when creating any web application, it's always important to be aware of how the users will be viewing your application. Is it desktop? Is it mobile? So I wanted to draw your attention to this Views tab at the bottom left of the screen here, where we can actually visualize that within the app builder here itself. So for example, this app in mobile portrait mode looks like this, and mobile landscape mode looks like this. If you're interested in diving deeper into tracking application traffic, there's also a Web Analytics tab here on the left, where you can add Adobe and Google Analytics, respectively. So back to you, Martine, for the next demo.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Okay, so we've got an application that allows users to report a bird sighting in the wild, and we've got an application that allows them to see what birds have been spotted near them. Now we need an application that allows us to visualize and understand the spatial trends of our data and the different things in our web map. So for this, I have chosen to answer the questions that I want viewers to be able to interact with my data, and I want them to be able to explore graphic and statistical information. And these are the applications that has chosen for me. So for today's demonstration, I've chosen the interactive legend. And I've already got this spun up, similar to how Matt had. I've configured it all already with the express mode that you see me do in the first demonstration. So for this, I'm actually going to turn off express mode and show you what the other additional configuration options are. So turning it off, you can see I've now got this little bit on the left here. So for example, there are several things I haven't got turned on. There's some things I already had turned on prior to this demonstration. One of the things that I want to configure, though, is the logo for Nestwatch Kent, just to make our application branded. So I'm going to quickly jump into my folders here, and I'm going to choose our pretty logo. Okay, so once that spins up, I've now got a branded application, quick and simple. And one of the other things is in this particular application, we have the option of a language switcher. There's several other instant apps that also enable this. So I'm going to turn on the language switcher, and I am going to choose French. Just to note, you can add multiple of these in one application. So clicking on the translation configuration, you can see that I've got my app title here, I've got an introduction window button, there's the alternative text for my web map. Prior to this demonstration, I have created an Excel spreadsheet that has all of the translations for these different parts of my application, and they're translated into French. So I'm going to import that from my data folder. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some French in here. I'm going to close that. Okay, so just to show you what the interactive legend does, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you can see here if I choose, let's say, green French and choose robin, you can see how quickly it filters that, that data and shows us where the locations are being spotted for these different kinds of birds, helps us understand what their patterns are. So the interactive legend is great for that. In addition, we also have that language switcher I just configured, so if I check on French here, you can see how quickly it has renamed certain elements of my application. Now, you'll probably have noticed bird sightings is still in English, and the different types of birds are still in English. This needs to be configured as part of your feature service layer, so you would do just a little bit of extra config just prior to spinning up this application and publishing it out to the wild and to the public. But it just shows you how quick and simple it can be that we can share our applications around the world globally. Some of the really other cool features that I haven't shown are that there's great support for assistive technologies with Instant Apps, and as Matt has demonstrated, that additional bit for Google Analytics and Adobe Analytics being brought in. So I'm going to hand over to Matt now to give us an update on how NestWatch Kent is going.
Thanks, Martine. So now that you've seen those instant apps, you're probably thinking, what next? And what we have here is an ArcGIS story map in edit mode that we've put together in a relatively short space of time. And it's an example of how we can share our interactive applications within the context of narrative text and other multimedia content. So you can see off the bat that we've made use of our initiative's theme and branding. We've added a number of the supported font texts that you can see here, font types, and we've also included some external images here as well. And you can see as I'm hovering the mouse, there are a number of sort of plus icons that appear. And just to show you that when I click on that plus, all of these elements that you can see have been added from this grouped drop-down list, which is simple to use. As I scroll down a little further, you'll see we've made use of the sidecar capability, which provides the user with a more immersive experience. But most importantly, we've embedded polished versions of the instant apps that you just saw us create a few moments ago within this story map. So the public, the users, have access to all of the functionality in all three applications, all from within a single web page. You can also launch these apps into full screen mode just using that little icon there at the top right as well. Scrolling down further, you can see we've embedded other examples of external content here, such as YouTube videos for additional context. And we've also added another application at the bottom, just focusing on that Nightingale use case as well. And this uses the slider template within the Instant App template library. And this essentially highlights how temporal data can help us understand further those distribution and population patterns of a given species, for example. So if I move that slider, in this example, we've got the nightingale population across Kent between 1967 and 2011. Now, it's important here to point out that you don't always have to use predefined, pre-configured existing maps and apps within StoryMaps. We can also add express maps from within the story map builder as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on this plus icon here, and I'm going to choose the map option under the media group. And I'm just going to click on a new express map here at the top right of the screen. And you can see we've got a toolbar here, and in this use case, what I might want to do, for example, is to add some points on the map. We can add images and things as well here, but just for the purpose of the demo, we could add Nightingale hotspots, for example, to our map, and we could also add some additional annotations, like that, for example. And then all we have to do at the bottom right is click on Save, and this interactive express map is instantly embedded into our story map for further context as well. So to summarize what we've shown you today, these application builders offer different capabilities, iteratively increasing in configuration effort and therefore training requirements as we move from left to right on this graphic here. So instant apps do what they say on the tin. They are simple and intuitive to use. ArcGIS StoryMaps are then designed to extend that narrative further through the use of additional multimedia content and narrative text. And as we move towards ArcGIS dashboards and ArcGIS Experience Builder, these builders offer more advanced configuration capabilities and flexibility to more closely fit into your business needs. Just a quick reminder that we are running some dedicated sessions on both ArcGIS dashboards and ArcGIS Experience Builder throughout the day today. So if that is of interest to you, please do make sure to check out the agenda. One additional option for disseminating and understanding data is Report Builder for ArcGIS. And this offers a rich library of infographics and charts that can be reproduced quickly and split across multiple geographies. We did run a session on this back in October, and the recording for that is currently available on YouTube. If there's anything you've seen today, if you've any questions about, please come and feel free to come and speak to us after the session, or alternatively, head over to the app stand, the technical support stand, or the technical session stand, that was a mouthful, on the second floor throughout the day today, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. This QR code will take you to a downloadable PDF with all the useful links and resources that we've used in today's session. So thanks very much for your time, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day today here at the QE2. Thank you.